Speaking of things coming up, we know September, October. We've got November coming up. November portends an election, and this election, we've spent a lot of time talking about the mayor's race, city council races, school board races, what have you, but also the big item. This is going to drive a lot of people to the ballot in November to go out there and vote. A lot of people voting this time around. It is going to be the QE unification vote. Now, if you go to our website, valdosile.com, our good buddy, the master of the afternoons, Chris Beckham, he talked to the pro-QE folks the other day, and I'm going to have them in next week as we go through this issue and give equal time to everybody. But right now, Sam Allen, former superintendent of Valdosta City Schools, he is in here leading the charge against QE. We're going to talk to him for a couple minutes. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning, Frank. How are you doing?
Pretty good. So do you ever sleep? I thought you retired to take it easy and also. It seems like you're just as busy now as you were back then.
I think I'm more busy now, Frank, but I'm not paid as much. Somebody thinking I'm on somebody's payroll, but I hadn't gotten the check yet.
Let's talk about what happened this past week, because a couple of things happened. That there was the big school board of education for Valdosta City Schools. They said, we don't want to unify. Then Lowndes County the next day, I think this was Tuesday, they had their vote and they said, hey, we don't want to consolidate either. And there's all these people coming out these meetings saying, no, we don't want to do this. So are you picking up more momentum, or the people that feel like they don't want QE, are they just now making themselves heard?
Well, Frank, what I think is happening is that the people that were on the sidelines, they never, ever thought that QE would get to this point. So I think they sat on the sidelines a little bit too long and said, well, they're not going to get those signatures, so we're just not going to take a stand either one way or the other. And then they finally realized that, hey, they did get the 7,000 signatures that was necessary.
Barely. And remember, they barely got that. They cleared that by 95 signatures, so it wasn't like an overwhelming thing. They just got through.
You're exactly right. And I think now that this question will be on the ballot in November, a number of people are suddenly saying, well, I've been duped, and now I want to voice my opinion either one way or the other. There are a large number of people who actually signed the petition, just to have the opportunity to vote no. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of people that actually signed the petition and wrote no beside the petition. The Friends of Valdosta City Schools, we've completed an open records request for those signatures, and we have all 10,099.
Wow.
And so we know that there were a large number of those people who signed those petitions, and we know who they are, and we know that a large number of them signed their names, but on the side, they wrote no, but their signatures were counted.
Yeah.
And I think that a large number of people were told, just sign it and write no to the side of it, and we won't count yours. But if they were registered voters, it did count.
Now when this comes to, so is there any way to challenge that, or is this going to be on the ballot anyway?
Well, if we were QE and we probably had their financial backing, we probably could challenge it. We're probably not going to challenge it. We just want to know what type of process, what some of these people were told when they were asked to sign this petition, and what were they expecting. But the main factor is a lot of these people that have signed, that we've contacted, really didn't know what they were signing.
And as this happens, if it goes on the ballot, it looks like it is in November.
That's right. It's already been verified by the city council.
It's done deal. So as that's going on, and I was at the vote, by the way. I remember that last week where the vote came down to, it's a split vote. Then the mayor said, look, they got the signatures. We're going to put them on the ballot.
Well, and one thing, Frank, you have to keep in mind that this question would have reached the ballot regardless of whether or not the city council had voted unanimous or anything. Because a superior court judge could have put it on the ballot.
Right.
And there was nothing that was illegal that was brought to the table that would prevent it.
They got the signatures, they're on the ballot.
I think the city council wanted people to know that they were not totally in favor of the process, didn't have a clue on some of the techniques that were being used, and were dissatisfied with those things. And then I think they let their vote sign their dissatisfaction.
Well, here's the thing. Now, you used to run Valdosta City Schools, and now you're coming out against this. I got the simple question. Why are you against this? Because there are people from the outside looking in going, wouldn't it be better to merge and consolidate and everybody get along?
Well, Frank, that's been my main focus, and that's probably one of the reasons why I stayed out of it, because I thought that a lot of people would say, he was just superintendent, and he's just got a real good feeling that he wants this system to continue on and on and on and on. But that's not the case. If they could give me a plan and show me how it's going to look on November the 9th, if this is successful, show me a plan then I probably be on the other side on the pro-QE side. Mm-hmm. But no one can tell me what it's going to look like, and everybody's telling me, just vote yes, and we'll show you the plan later. It's just like a politician. Go ahead and vote for it. We'll show you how we're going to take care of it later.
And when you're looking at this, because I know that some people share that same concern, they've said, well, we haven't had the details come through. We don't know how this affects CRCT, AYP, or NCLB, or any of these other acronyms.
Or transportation, mm-hmm. or where your teacher's going to be, where your kids going to school. But, you know, years ago when I was working for a living, the State Department of Education had a service that when two school systems wanted to merge, the two school systems could ask the State Board of Education to come down and do a feasibility study. Free. And I have not heard that. And they would actually come down. They would look at the financials. They would look at transportation. They could tell you how many schools would be closing. They could give you all of that preliminary data, and you would have a plan to use and a plan to go out in the community and say, well, you know, it may not look exactly like this, but this is what it may look like. Mm-hmm. But at this point, we don't have a clue what this is going to look like. And it's my understanding, if this is successful, it will go in effect almost immediately because there is no time frame on the ballot. The ballot simply says that it will annul the city schools charter immediately. So on November the 9th, all of those teachers and all of those students who were Valdosta City Schools children will become Lowndes County school children on the following day. And certainly the Lowndes County Board of Education would certainly take over the school system after the 10-day validation period by the Board of Elections.
Okay, now hang on, Sam. Let me back up on you on that because you know the QE guys are going to say, you're just fear-mongering, you're just saber-rattling on this because, you know, the argument's going to be they don't intend to do that. They're going to move it slowly, methodically, and all that.
Well, but they don't have a clue. They're not in control. The Lowndes County Board of Education are the only people that can tell you how this is going to work after November the 8th. No one else can tell you. Q is they are not elected officials. They don't have a sitting board, responsibility on that Board of Education, either where they're elected. And people think that the Lowndes County Board of Education is simply going to expand just because you have a new school system. They're going to still remain to have 7 board members on that board. The Valdosta City School System currently has 9. The Lowndes County Board of Education, unless there is a legislative amendment, will continue to have 7. Those 7 board members will simply represent more people.
Were you surprised when the Lowndes Board of Education said, unanimously, I should add, we don't want to do this either?
Well, no, I wasn't. I mean, being an educator and being an administrator, looking at the numbers, not even looking at the exact numbers. First of all, QE has already said in their frequently asked questions, it will not save you money. And if it's not going to save you money, it's not going to make any academic improvements that they can pinpoint, then why are you doing it? And I understand I read some documentation from one of the Valdosta City School Board members that voted against the resolution on Monday, that there were some things that there were some significant citizens in the community that had an idea on where they wanted this community to go, and part of that was to get the schools to consolidate. My question is, tell us what it is. I mean, if it's significant and if it's going to benefit the citizens of Valdosta, Lowndes County, then tell me. The other thing that I have a problem with, Frank, is that the county is not having an opportunity to vote on this issue. I think that if it's going to be a complete unifying measure, then everybody should have a say.
Now let's take a look at what's going on if we don't. Or let's tell you what, let's even back up further and say, and by the way, if you're just now tuned in, Sam Allen is leading the anti-QE charge, the anti-consolidation charge, which I've said, by the way, and I said this on the air, not consolidation. To me, I said subjugation.
You're exactly right.
Is what this felt like to me.
You're exactly right. And even the Valdosta Daily Times, at the next day after the Monday meeting, they came up with the same questions, Frank, that I came up with to you probably the first time that I talked to you.
Months ago.
Oh, yeah. And it was ironic. I said, well, did they get one of my speeches?
Now, well, here's the thing I got to ask you, Sam. As we're looking at this and people say it's going to improve test scores and standards and all that stuff, you were the superintendent of the Valdosta City School System. Can you take us back a couple of years and say, how has Valdosta City Schools, have they improved without benefit of consolidation so far?
Oh, Frank, there is no doubt. And that's one thing that QE has not been able to pick up on, is showing that the Valdosta City School System is not improving. J.L. Newman, for example, that has been on the needs improvement list for probably 6 or 7 years, has suddenly found themselves with a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication from administrators, teachers, and parents, have found themselves off of the AYP list. So, and needs improvement list. So the Valdosta City School System are making leaps and bounds and improvement, but you also have to keep in mind there's a bigger factor in here. Because the Valdosta City School System, over 80% of their students come from or qualify for free and reduced lunch. Mm-hmm. So until you improve the economics of those parents that are living in that community, you're not going to improve education in those communities, because those parents, they have so much more on their plate. They have to worry about where their rent is coming from, where their kids are going to get their next meal from. There are a lot of things that has to happen if you really want to help those kids improve, and you have to improve their economics.
And when we're looking at long term, if QE does not succeed this time, let's say it comes down to a vote in November, which it's going to do. Let's say it's voted down. Is this the sort of thing that once it's voted down, it stays away forever? Can it come back? How does this work out?
They can come back as many times as they want to. And, you know, Frank, it's almost gotten to the point where I'm reluctant to even take speaking engagements because I don't have anything new to say, because they hadn't given me anything new to say. Someone asked me, why don't you have a debate? What are we debating on? Mm-hmm. There's no factors out there that they're presenting that can't be solved in the independent school system. Well, and there's no problem that they're saying that most school systems don't already have.
Now, as you're going through this, I know that it seems like every time, I mean, I remember months ago when this started, you were having meetings. Are more people showing up to the meetings? Are more people getting more vote? Because it seems like every time it's like there's another crowd.
Frank, my telephone is ringing. I'm not sure if I'm getting any personal calls on my phone. My email, my Facebook page, the Friends of Valdosta Facebook page, people want to know, how can I get involved? Because a lot of people are angry because they think that they've been snookered into signing something and believing in something, and now waiting for a final result that's not there. I believe that the QE group held one of their educational meetings on yesterday, and I attended one of those meetings. And the main purpose of attending that meeting was right after they had turned in their signatures, was that, okay, finally we're going to find a plan. We're going to see what it's going to look like. I didn't get that. And I'm not sure what they got last night. But the thing that is real puzzling is that none of the educators that make the decisions are involved in this process. So I'm gathering that this plan that they're talking about will be completed in October. And it will be just a combination of what they've gotten from these public meetings. And I'm not sure who they're going to present it to. There's no need to present it to the Valdosta Board of Education, because if it's successful, they're not going to be able to enact it. So they would have to present it to the Lowndes County Board of Education, who unanimously said in their resolution the other day that they don't want it. They don't want it.
Sam Allen, I got to let you run out of here for people. And I'm saying, don't call him personally at home, because I know you're slammed. What's the best way if people want to get to these meetings? Is there a Facebook page or something like that you mentioned?
They're the Facebook page of Friends of Valdosta City School System. And we would encourage, there's a post office box, 5514 Valdosta, Georgia, 31603. Mm-hmm. If they have any contributions they want to make, because keep in mind, we're not out there to make any money. We're just out there to do what's best for the kids. And if you tell me what's best for the kids, then I may be a curious supporter.
There you go. All right, Sam Allen, I appreciate you coming through. And remember, seems like you got a football game tonight, by the way.
Got a football game tonight. Hardaway.
You're going to be at Bazemore Hyder Stadium, maybe?
I'll be right there, rain or shine.
And, people coming up, they might be talking about football, but they ask you about this QE vote, too.
That's right. But football is not the main thing.
No, it's not.
It's the education of our boys and girls in the future of our Valdosta City School System.
There you go. Sam Allen, thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate it. Quick time out right now. Back with more in just a moment. News Talk 105.9. This is WVGA.